7th January 2013, FIFA Ballon d'Or 2012 ceremony. Lionel Messi picks up his fourth award after another astonishing season with Barcelona, where he scored a grand total of 91 goals in a calendar year. But there was something else that caught my eye, the FIFA Pro Team of the Year. All of them played in La Liga, 5 of them at Barcelona, 5 at Real Madrid, and Radamel Falcao at Atletico de Madrid. Now, why did this catch my attention? It caught my attention because football is being monopolized. All the best players are playing for the same team. I once saw a quote from Ronaldo Fenomeno, where he said, back in the 90s, football was more balanced. You would see players like Batistuta, Totti, and Matitisier playing for clubs that weren't super clubs, even though they had the talent to start for the biggest teams in the world. So what has changed? What has made football lopsided? Money, of course. And a lot of it. Certain teams in football can just outspend others. Teams with Arab state-backed owners, Russian oligarchs, and U.S. private equity investors. These teams can slap £400 million in one transfer window and essentially buy their way to success. People need to understand that the disparity between the top clubs and the rest is greater now than it's ever been. Football is less competitive. Wealthy super clubs hoard the elite talent, making competition much easier for the world's best footballers.
The biggest deal ever for an English player, and Sky Sports News can reveal this morning that we expect Aston Villa to accept Manchester City's £100 million bid for Jack Grealish.
There's no level playing field. This has far-reaching impacts on elite footballers' stats and clubs like Barca, Madrid, Bayern, and City. They are regularly scoring 100-plus league goals a season. This rarely happens in previous eras. As the super rich get richer, the rest can't keep up. 95% of the week, Barca, Madrid play against teams vastly inferior to themselves. The margin is greater than ever before. Take La Liga in 2012. The gap between Barca and third place over 200 ELO points. The gap between the top and bottom is almost 400. The average team is over 300 less. Now compare this to the ELO rating in La Liga 1985. Barca and Madrid are still top 2, but the gap is considerably less, just over 100 points between first and third. The gap between the top and bottom is 250. The average team is within 150 ELO points. A more level playing field. When a 19-year-old Ronaldo was scoring 34 goals in 37 games, he did so in an era where every single team was within 180 ELO of each other. In a team with far less individual quality that scores 0.6 per game less than Pep Barca 14 years later. When I was a child, my father would tell me about Diego Maradona. The best player in his era went to Napoli at the peak of his powers. Napoli back then was a Europa League level club. This would never happen in today's mega-rich game. Can you imagine Lionel Messi at AS Roma? It's unthinkable. These types of transfers were normal back then. During his 7-year tenure at Napoli, from 1984 to 1991, Maradona led the team to 2 Serie A titles, making history as the first southern Italian team to achieve such success. But his influence on Naples went beyond his athletic achievements. Upon his passing in 2020, the mayor of Naples declared Maradona in Napoli, or Maradona is Naples. Diego Maradona's Napoli team in 1985 on paper was the 9th best team out of 16, in a league that averaged significantly fewer goals per game than today. As the playing field becomes more even, individual statistics decrease to the norm. Now you have some of the best players in the game like Benzema, Suarez, Neymar, and Bale playing secondary or even the role as the third man, which is insanity. They'd be the best players at most clubs in the world. How has this impacted football? In the Premier League, Manchester City have won 4 Premier League titles in a row and are about to make it 5. Man City is controlled by a state economically vastly superior to everyone else in the league, breaking points, wins, and goals scored records in the process. There's never been a team as dominant. Real Madrid has the best team in La Liga by far, better physically, technically, and tactically than everyone else. Bayern Munich, even though they did not win the 2023-24 season, had previously won 10 league titles in an astonishing row, as if the other teams are NPCs. Paris Saint-Germain is the best team in France by far and has the top 12 highest earning players in the league. That is unheard of. They could start the season with a 10-point deduction and still win the league comfortably. Serie A is becoming competitive after the other teams were able to dethrone Juventus, who had a 9-year run of winning it every year. They have also won it 11 times since 2000. This excludes the titles they won from match fixing, but now there is an element of competitiveness as we have had 3 different winners in 4 years. And there isn't one financially doped team in the league that can just take everyone's best players. How does this affect individual players too? For starters, Real Madrid have signed Kylian Mbappe this summer. This would mean Barcelona or anyone else will hardly get a touch of the La Liga trophy for the next few years. This is a team that has Rodrigo, Bellingham, and Vinicius, who are already some of the best on this planet. They even have a Brazilian wonder kid who's touted to be the best of the next generation coming in this summer. When Mbappe is 30, Endrick will still only be 22. They even won another historic Champions League. Before Man City had signed Erling Haaland, they had already won 2 Premier League titles in a row and made back-to-back Champions League semi-finals. They could have survived without Haaland, but today's football landscape means winning is not enough. I must dismantle all competition. Bayern Munich regularly takes players from Borussia Dortmund. It's like anyone good from Borussia Dortmund is practically on loan from Bayern Munich. With this, I understand that the 2 clubs have a good relationship, and Bayern Munich helped when they were going through a tough financial period. How will the others compete? With teams this financially doped, this means many previous records will be broken with ease. Let's look at Ronaldo and Messi. Yes, they are the best of our era, but they played in teams that had all the best players in every position, as the 2012 Ballon d'Or ceremony showed us. When we look at Ronaldo and Messi's World Cup, Euro, and Copa America knockout stage goals, we see a massive reduction in their prowess. This is important as international football is not backed by money. Therefore, you cannot just sign a midfielder if your country doesn't produce top quality ones. You're forced with the hand you're dealt. It is and will always be seen as the hardest level of football for that reason. Another reason why competition is dying in football is that mega clubs are now taking lesser clubs' academy talent at young ages. The transfer market is extremely globalized. Back in the day, Arsene Wenger had the biggest advantage on everyone. What was this advantage? He had the team transfer market in a chokehold. In the 90s, he had access to all the premium cream of the crop talents in France. This is why Arsenal had so many French players. He was ITK, aka in the know. In today's football, that does not exist. Someone like Mbappe at 13 years old was already in talks with Real Madrid and Chelsea. The market is too globalized. Everyone knows everyone. You can have a promising talent in your under-14s team. Chelsea would have found out about him months ago. With the rise of YouTube, Y-Scout, Football Manager, aka Championship Manager if you're a pensioner, and other social media apps. Scouts do not even need to travel to the stadium to see a player. They can have a peek online. Then, when they're sure, they can speak to the player's agent and family. Smaller clubs will not be able to compete anymore. Teams like Chelsea, Man United, Real Madrid, etc. can go and sign nearly whoever they want. FFP Financial Fair Play was brought in as a view to help the smaller clubs. But in fact, it is more a way to stop the smaller clubs from being taken over by rich clubs. Look how long it took for Newcastle's takeover to be completed. What also happens is the rich get richer, and the filter 5 that gets spent at the top trickles down to the less rich clubs. Then the less rich clubs are in situations where they cannot afford to give their star player a new contract as the standard wage is rising due to the big clubs. Will the competitive nature of football ever be fixed? Will we continue to see clubs like Real Madrid and Man City have dream teams? Does this open us up to a new model, aka the European Super League? Give us your thoughts below. Great sides like some of Ferguson's United teams, Wenger's Arsenal, and Liverpool in the 70s and 80s truly dominated the league with great football. The dominance that City are showing in their games, the ability to score several goals each game, and impressively their ability to keep clean sheets or reduce goals to a minimum, shows perhaps the first team to be able to balance attack and defense so expertly that they look almost unbeatable. The attacking play is sharp, intelligent, and ruthless. The players understand their roles and positions and move the ball and opposition so effectively they tie their opponents up in knots. The quality of the players on the pitch helps, of course, and City has built a truly remarkable squad of talented players, many young, who are developing and improving constantly. It's a world-class team getting better. What a scary thought. And it is that thought which we will look at now. If this City team is already the best, and if it is getting even better, then what chance do the rest have? And how competitive can we say the league is? The last time a team retained the Premier League was all the way back in 2009. It was United, and that was their third in a row. The last truly great team in England before City, An attack on Rooney, Ronaldo and Tevez, a midfield of Scholes and Garrick, and a defense of Vidic and Ferdinand. It was something special. Since then, there has been a back and forth between City, United and Chelsea, and of course Leicester. But no team has been able to retain them. Over a decade later, City has done its 4 years on the trot. City looks even more complete. Maybe not as fun as before, but they can win games in more ways compared to previously. It is beautifully balanced, deep with quality, and focused on achieving success. The work that Guardiola has done with City is fantastic. It's all well and good having a blank check to purchase players, yet it's another to recruit the right players and then coach them effectively to succeed. Guardiola not only has the ability to motivate and inspire his team to work hard, but importantly finds a way to make them play his brand of football while being defensively solid. It's incredible, really. The tactical fluidity, the ingenuity, the system, and the style. It's something we haven't seen. The level of football and balance which City show. City are too good at being able to prevent teams from attacking them. Either they dominate possession for so long that the opposition can't attack, pushing the opposition so deep that the chance to attack feels a very long way off, or they transition so fast that the opposition can't exploit the space City leaves when attacking. It's a remarkable defensive approach dressed up as the best attacking team in the game. Best attacking team and the best defensive team? The most perfect team? Some people argue that having a great team in a sport isn't good for the sport. One team constantly winning can become boring, monotonous, and even stale. That the same teams continually battling it out for the top prize takes away the feeling of excitement and intrigue. We've seen it across different sports, and there tends to be a dominant 1, 2, or 3 teams which have the best players and coach, which have the most money or the best strategy. Is it boring to see greatness, though? Really? We marvel at undefeated teams and individuals across sports and remember the greats. A dynasty, that dominant figure which conquers all. The allure of greatness, the sense of being unbeatable, and the intrigue of seeing if they can, in fact, be beaten and lose. We remember the dynasty which was Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls team. We watch the All Blacks in awe and adore what Usain Bolt has achieved. The dynasty of the New England Patriots under Belichick and Tom Brady is unprecedented, and what Barcelona achieved under Pep Guardiola was a close to world football dominance in 2011 which has been seen. At present, the Golden State Warriors may be the greatest sports team in all of sport, not only winning with great players, but playing some of the greatest basketball ever seen. Greatness. It's a mix of brilliance, dominance, and success. Great teams inspire the next generation, where heroes are made and memories are forged. Often they become the most hated because they're so damn dominant and successful. But ultimately you respect what they've done because it takes a lot to be great. Seriously great. The hard hours of work, the mental strength to win, and to continue to win again and again. It takes discipline, sacrifice, and cohesive spirit within the group. It is boring, I would say so. Is there a solution to cure this boredom? A potential Super League? Let us know your thoughts below.